Okay, so my thinking note is on page 218, and the note is yes. And it says, if only we could see the endless string of consequences that result from our smallest actions, but we can't know better until knowing better is useless. And it really ties in with the book with, like, how Alaska dies and they don't know, like, their smallest action of letting her just leave.
Mm-hmm. Wait, Alaska dies?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were...
I didn't read it! Oh,
okay, but it doesn't spoil anything.
Wait, what is it?
So...
What page is it on?
Yeah. It just made me really connect to the book, and it showed deep, like, thoughts and how it was really thought out, and you can tie it into, like, any life situation. Like, you could miss a practice, and now you're, like, kicked off the team or something, so.
It's just, like, little things that tie into each
other.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely, like, hit me hard. But, yeah, Alaska dies, and.
Thanks for that.
I'm glad I didn't read my first thinking note, because it'd totally give everything away.
Okay, because I want to read that book.
Wait, are we just doing one thinking note?
Sure. Well, I just did. Okay.
Me?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. Well, on page 161, my note was wow, and this book has a lot of, like, mathematics and science in it, and it had the quadratic formula.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because he did this for fun. Like, just kept doing it on the train where he was going and keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and we learned about this. I don't know, so it's just...
Don't tell Mr. Wilson.
Yeah,
no. Like, I told you.
B squared minus 4ac. Oh, for 2a.
Oh my god.
Okay. This is what I was going to laugh at.
Okay, so my thinking note is on page 256, and it's sad. I don't know, like, this is the end of the book, and Hannah's just kind of letting herself go, and she's just saying a bunch of this sad stuff, and this little paragraph, like, really hit me hard. It was so sad. It says, tomorrow I'm getting up, I'm getting dressed, I'm walking to the post office there. I'll mail off a bunch of tapes to Justin Foley, and after that there's no turning back. I'll go to school, too late for first period, and we'll have one last day together, the only difference being that I'll know it's the last day. You won't. And it was so sad.
That was really sad. I got sad at that part.
I was like,
That's
whoa.
rough.
Like, it really hit me.
So I have a question. Do you like the book or the Netflix series?
Netflix series.
Really?
Like, the way she killed herself is a lot better. Like, not better, but
But it,
like,
it really shows, you know.
Yeah.
It's more like...
series shows what
in the
hits
book,
harder.
she
Yeah,
swallows
it hits harder.
pills, like, she...
And it doesn't really, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just,
explain how it
I mean,
happens.
one little sentence though, just think about it.
Just like,
Can
I'm not coming
change
back.
the whole, like, mood of the book and everything. Like,
Alright, mine is on 254, and it's another wow, and she was explaining, like, some of the reasons, like, examples she might kill herself. She said, but sometimes I took things far further and wondered how I would do it. I would tuck myself into bed and wonder if there was anything in the house I could see. A gun? No, we never owned one. I wouldn't know where to get one. What about hanging? Well, what would I use? Where would I do it? And even if I knew what and where, I could never get beyond the visual of someone finding me swinging inches from the floor. I couldn't do that to Mom and Dad, and it just, like, hit me.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Literally.
Yeah.
That part was rough.
Just, like, imagine your parents coming in.
I
seeing
couldn't.
well, it's
Yeah.
not even that. Like, I couldn't watch it during the Crucible. Like, it was just...
Yes. Yeah.
You didn't see it, but you just pushed and you fell, like,
Yeah,
you
it's like-
saw the weight, like,
I don't
fall down.
think I could do that to my parents, though.
I couldn't.
I watched a show, like, that just reminds me of a show I watched the one time, and the guy gets all dressed up in his suit, he hangs himself in his closet, and his dad walks in.
What TV show was that?
Yeah. His dad walks in, and his dad is just this big macho guy, and he just starts bawling for his son to wake up. And, like, just,
Did
like,
he cut it? Like, try and get him down.
I don't know what
How could
happened
you do
exactly,
that?
but
Yeah,
it's
he
just,
couldn't do that.
it was so sad, and it's just like,
It's,
wow.
okay, like, I always, like, when I was in middle school, even, like, 8th grade, I was just like, oh, they killed themselves. Like,
yeah, like whatever.
Yeah.
oh, they hung it. Like, they hang.
They hung it.
They hung
Yeah.
themselves, whatever. They hang themselves or whatever. And now it's just
Now
like,
it's just, like,
a
different.
big,
Didn't really
It's,
know
like,
back then.
different.
Like,
it's a big realization and all the things that, like,
Go into
I
it.
think the
lead up to it.
realization is, did you watch the series?
mm-mm.
Then you're gonna have even more bigger perspective. It's
Well, I think it's just like, I
It's-
think it also plays on, like, our emotions. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. The things Hannah said are just so sad. Like,
and
She's
Clay.
a sad
yeah,
I-
person.
Clay. Like,
I-
Clay.
just couldn't imagine
Just-
being, like, a friend of somebody's
Yeah.
that did that, let alone myself.
Like,
Like-
just think your best friend's not coming to school tomorrow. Like,
And then the
She's
part
just
where he was
dumb.
like, I know I won't see her at the desk anymore. It's gonna be empty. Like
Yeah.
that part was so sad.
and Mr. Porter, I feel like in the book, he was a lot more like, you need help. Like, I can help you and stuff.
He was terrible in
In the series, he was clueless. Like,
He
he's not a
literally
guidance
didn't help
counselor.
at all.
Okay, I have another
In the
one
book
that I
or
really
the
want to read.
TV show, was he a teacher too, or was
Yeah,
he
he
just a
was,
guardian?
but he was like a different teacher.
Do we want to read both thinking?
Oh, I want to read my other one.
Because I still
because
have
it's
one to do.
super-
I want
we
to
can
read
skip Jade. Okay, so one of mine then, I guess, was on page 180, and it just says that that they turned off the lights at like they turned back on the lights at 1 o'clock because they figured everyone was going to be asleep, and then they heard footsteps. So then he said, I grabbed the breathalyzer from him and stuffed it between the foam cushions of the couch and grabbed the Dixie cup and the Gatorade bottle of vodka and stashed them behind the coffee table. And in one motion, I grabbed a cigarette from the pack and lit it, hoping the smell of smoke would cover up the smell of booze. And then the principal or whatever walks into their room, and he said he saw them sitting there, and then Pudge had the colonel pretend he was crying. So then he said that Pudge was like, sorry, he's having a rough night. And then the eagle was like, are you smoking in your room after lights out? And he said that he was just trying to stay awake. And it just shows how over the time of the book, over however many months had passed, that just how much the character of Pudge really changed, because when he first got there,
Same with the
He-
eagle, though.
he didn't want to smoke or drink or do anything like that, but now he's knowing how to cover himself up. It just shows how, like, I don't know, it just,
How much something
how
can
much he
change
can
over
change.
a little time.
and it also shows how much the eagle changed too, because he was very, in the beginning, was very strict.
What's the eagle? Like
Oh.
the dean?
The dean, yeah.
Pretty much,
Okay.
yeah.
And it
That's
just
their
shows how
word
much
cover
he
for it.
changed too, because then he said that, like, he understands it's a difficult time. He becomes
Well,
a lot more understanding.
They
of,
pulled a
like,
prank in honor of Alaska,
Really?
and it was
Yes.
like this speaker that comes every year,
And
and it was ended up being a stripper.
Oh my gosh. That's
And
funny.
the eagle didn't like punish anybody. He
No,
didn't
he
even like
just said-
question it.
He just like thought, oh.
Yeah.
It's,
Wait.
If I was a dean, I
He
would have
said-
been so mad.
He said,
I would've
don't
laughed.
do anything ever, don't ever do anything like that again, he said, but Lord, so, like, he just said it's like she wrote the speech himself. Like, he was almost proud of it. Like, they're doing something to try to move on. I don't know.
That's okay.
It's an interesting way to move on,
I'm
but
not gonna do my thinky note because it like
Okay.
ruins the book.
Wait, I'm gonna
Jade.
go.
the books.
I'm
don't
gonna.
ruin the book, Jade.
No, I gotta say it because it just makes me mad, and I didn't. He could have saved Alaska.
Why didn't he say something
It
earlier?
made me so mad. Okay, so I'll read it and then I'll explain it to you. So it said, this is
I'm gonna go out of the room for a
Okay.
second.
okay.
Good plan.
Wait, I want to too, because I want to read the book too.
I'm not gonna read the book. I want to listen.
Bye.
Okay. So it's to Pudge and the Colonel from Tukami.
Wait, it's from what?
Or it's to Pudge and the Colonel from Tukami.
Who's to come?
They're
One
all
of their
friends.
friends.
They're all
Oh,
friends.
okay.
Okay, so it says, you've mostly figured this out, but the truth is, is that I saw her that night. I stayed up late with Laura and some people, and then I was falling asleep, and I heard her crying outside my back window. It was like 3:15 that morning, maybe, and I walked out there and saw her walking through the soccer field. I tried not to talk to her, but she was in a hurry. She told me that her mother was dead 8 years that day, and that she was always put flowers on her mother's grave on that anniversary, but she had forgot that year. She was out there looking for flowers, but it was too early, too wintry. That's how I knew about January 10th. I still have no idea whether it was suicide. She was so sad, and I didn't know what to say or do. I think she counted on me to be the one person who would always say and do the right things to help her, but I couldn't. I just thought she was looking for flowers. I didn't know she was going to go. She was drunk, just trash drunk, and I really didn't think she would drive or anything. I thought she would just cry herself to sleep and then drive to visit her mom the next day or something. She walked away and then I heard a car start. I don't know what I was thinking. So I let her go too, and I'm sorry. I know you loved her. It was hard not to.
Oh my god.
So
we can.
to Kami,
That's what I
like,
had as my characterization
Colonel
too.
and Pudge just like kind of took him out of the picture when they were trying to
figure out what
happened.
We should pause it.
Oh yeah, we're at 11 minutes.
You wanna?
We're back.
Yeah, that's what I had as my character.